So this is day 2 of CDL Class A learner's permit training. It's in a classroom. They go over a bunch of slides. They talk about a lot of different things. We watch some videos. It's a really interesting course. And yet again, there was the same guy as yesterday who didn't learn his lesson about logging in from his car, decided today he was driving around yet again and tried to log in on his phone. And the teacher was just like, you can't drive around while you're trying to take a class on this. We're not going to distract drivers here. I mean, it's like, come on. And again, there were some funny questions. There was one when we were talking about emergencies, for example, and putting out the triangles. It was really funny because one guy said that what happens if you're in the middle of a multi-car pileup? You're literally in the middle. Do you still put your triangles out then? The instructor started laughing and said, I don't think you'd be able to at that point. All the cars that are piled on top of each other would basically, be enough of a indicator that there was a problem there. So hopefully that would be enough. And he started laughing. And so quickly, since there's 130 students in this Zoom class, I went ahead and typed in to him. I said, that's when you're supposed to take your road flares and start throwing them into nearby cars, right? And he started laughing, and he was laughing for a bit. Well, what I will say is that the class that I'm in is pretty good. There's everyone in it is very interesting. You got a guy who's they're all quite a bit younger than me. I'm middle aged. It's kind of weird how I'm probably twice the age of most of these guys. But one guy was probably in his early to mid 20s. And he's delivered for FedEx. And so he's driven a box truck before, one of the FedEx trucks. And he says, you don't need a CDL for that. And he's done that. So he understands some of the stuff and he's volunteering it, which when we get to the quizzes, he's usually pretty good about, directing and saying, I think we should do it this way. We should join forces and take these quizzes together and stuff. And I try to just get ahead of him because I want the practice. If we're working on it collectively, it's not practice to me. So I go ahead and try to work at least a few questions ahead of them so that way I get the answers. And then once I get it, I'm not going back. I'll submit my answers. And then, because to me, the quizzes are to test me. And I understand if you most of the people in the class feel pretty like the class is pretty easy, but it's a lot of memorization. To me, I want to learn the material though, because I want to be able to do as good as possible on the test. And then behind the FedEx guy is a young guy who wants to be a team driver with his cousin who's graduating from CDL school and going to get his CDL Class A very soon. And they're going to try to be teams together, which supposedly from looking online, team driving is it's challenge. But if they're cousins and they get along fine, more power to them. And then there's a guy in the upper like in front of me to the right who came in today and he was in there early and he was nervous because he went for his CDL DOT physical yesterday, and apparently one of his eyes, he's farsighted. One of his eyes was 20/20. The other one is he couldn't see it. Yeah, he couldn't see 20/20. So he was ultra concerned about that today. And I said, "You're farsighted?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "You need to get an eye exam." Because it might be as simple as having an astigmatism or something like that. He says, well, he does have glasses. And I said, for distance or for close up? He says, well, I'll use them when I'm distant. I'm like, okay. You need to get an eye exam because probably that's what your issue is. And we were like, when did you last get one? He said, when I was a kid, I was in school. It's like, it's been a long time. Your eyes have probably changed. So he's probably, ultra concerned about that. But I told him, I said, you need to go to an eye exam and then talk to him later throughout the day. And cause he says he was going to go to the hospital. And I said, why are you going to the hospital? They're not going to be able to give you glasses. And he said, yeah, but they'd be able to at least check my eyes. I'm like, no, you need to go to an eye exam because all they're going to do, if anything, is refer you to someplace. And then you're going to lose the time because we're there until 4:30. So you need to go someplace and get your eyes, checked and start the process of getting glasses. Because if he doesn't have his DOT physical in and he passes by Tuesday, he's not going to be allowed in the yard. So he's got to get that process going. Now, one of the life hacks that I've used in the past, which if you get a contact lens exam, which I do, one of the things that if they have to order contacts for you is I'll always ask, do you have any new daily wears that I can try? Because there's always new daily wears, and they'll usually give you 2 or 3 different pairs of them, and they're samples, so it doesn't cost them anything. And I'm always at least open to them, but I haven't liked them so far. But one thing it does do is it allows you to carry some daily wears with you. So that way, if something ever happens to one of your disposable contact lenses, you always have the dailies with you, and you could easily toss one in one of your eyes. So you at least have that. And I said, well, if they're going to be having to order contacts or order glasses for you, and you get a contact lens exam, ask for some daily wears. But he's looking at just getting glasses because they're fairly cheap. And I think he's probably not ultra, he's not really well off or anything. I'm sure he has enough money to get a pair of glasses, but, he might not want to get contacts, even though he's talked about them. But, let's see, behind him, there's a young lady who, she's just back there. She's doing her job. She's having sometimes a hard time paying attention at times because there's a lot of material and it's just one thing after another. She's paying attention. She's doing a good job. But when it comes down to the tests, or the quizzes rather, I don't know that she's able to fully focus. So she's pretty happy about the guy who drove for FedEx wanting to kind of work collectively as a group. She's the main person. It's like, yeah, let's do it. And then behind her, there's a very quiet guy whose family apparently owns a trucking, tow truck business, and they don't do cars anymore. They do big vehicles. So he's getting a CDL so that way he can participate in the family business, which is cool. That's a nice thing. He usually is pretty quiet. He's a country guy, but anyway, that's us. So that's the group. It's a good group. People, like I said, seem young. You probably grab the youngest and the oldest person in the group, and together they're probably even to be about my age. And then the next 2 youngest and the next two. So it's kind of interesting. But I actually last night did one of the quizzes, but trying to do a quiz after day 1, your general knowledge test or general knowledge quizzes, you didn't really have enough after one day to fully know the material. And even then, I'm sure I still don't know everything. But I took it and got I think it was a 39 out of 50. So I looked at what I needed to improve on. I retook it and got a 50 out of 50. And then today, I'm not really a big lunch person. So today during the half-hour lunch, I took the general knowledge test B, which was 90 questions. And I think I got 79 out of that one. I didn't have time to retake it because the 30 seconds afterwards, the class started back up. But the good thing is, when we got through the end of the modules today, we're going to be starting air brakes tomorrow. And so today, general knowledge, I took all of the general knowledge things and, I took that general knowledge test, and I'm going to go back tonight and I'm going to retake the 90 question one after studying what I got wrong. And then I'm going to retake it until I get a 90% or 90 out of 90, because I want to make sure I do good. And then if I can, as of right now, I have 2 hours before I have to go to sleep. So I'm going to take the other quizzes and see how many of those I can knock out, the general knowledge ones, because I think it'd be good for me to take them. Now, I can go to Chris CDL. I keep wanting to say DSL, but it's CDL.com and take some of their modules. But I want to test out this course. I really want, I feel like, everything in the course is there for a reason. They're asking for it. And I understand there's some other training things, and they say you can go there for additional information, and the app does, or the website does look good. But I want to do the ones from the course that we're paying for, because I think it's going to be good. So, it's a good thing. It's the instructor, I like him. He's, I think his name is Andre, and he's really nice. He's funny. So yeah, really no complaints or anything so far. Sitting there for such a long period of time it takes a while, but, hey, that's the nature of the beast, I guess. I'm not used to just, every job I've ever had has been fairly energetic and been moving around and had things, not just sitting there studying. And it's been 20 some odd years since I've been in school. So that's, 2 hours here and there is quite a bit different, or up to 2 hours is quite a bit different than sitting there for 8 hours. But, hey, it is what it is. Either way, it's training me to do better. It's training me for the test, which is going to be good. So there you go. Day 2, and we're going to be starting day 3 tomorrow. So see you tomorrow.